Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the April 6, 2023 meeting of the Monroe County Election Board. We have a short agenda today. We do not have any minutes. We've had, as many of you know, some very, very long meetings the last few weeks, and staff just has not had the opportunity to get all that transcribed, so we don't have any minutes. We only have one thing under new business, but I do believe we unintentionally omitted something that is always on our agenda, which is public comment. So if anyone does want to move to add that quickly so that we can offer that.
I will move to add the item of public comment to today's agenda.
Second.
After new business. Please excuse me.
Second.
Wonderful. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. We'll add that under B, new business. So first up, election office updates. I'm assuming that's Clerk Brown.
It is. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I very quickly looked at the election calendar and reached out to my staff, and so I want to make you aware of some information. As of 11:45 today, 134 voters had taken advantage of early and in-person voting at election operations. The total number of ballots that have been requested by mail and were mailed out is 197. Of that number, that 197 number, 25 have been returned to us. And on April 20th, that is the last date that we can accept your application if you want to vote by mail. We have received 2 email requests for overseas ballots that we honored, and both ballots have been returned. I want to make you aware of a couple of dates, or actually several dates. April 13th is the day that travel board begins for confined voters, those voters caring for confined voters at a private residence, or voters who have disabilities. They may vote by absentee mail at the voter's place of residence or their place of confinement. April 14th at noon is the deadline for filing pre-primary campaign finance reports for primary candidates, and this would include unopposed primary candidates in those areas where no primary is conducted. On April 22nd, 2023, and April 29th, 2023. Both of those are Saturdays, and there will be early voting on both Saturdays as required by statute, and those are the last 2 Saturdays preceding Election Day. Early voting ends at noon on May 1st, which is the day before primary election day. If you have not voted by noon on May 1st, you will report to your assigned polling site on May 2nd between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And for the benefit of the election board, particularly Mr. Henry, on the night before elections, we come together at Election Central, and that is ensuring that all polling sites are up and operational, and we don't leave until the last person has called in to say everything is ready to go for tomorrow. We're also collecting a list of those things that were not sent out to the polling sites so that we can start our couriers bright and early. I will be making motions to recess in case other meetings are called between now and Election Day, but those are the dates that I wanted to bring to your attention today, and those are the updates that I have for you unless I get a text while we're in this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is public comment. So we'll open up the floor for anyone in the room that is present and on Zoom if anyone has public comment.
Hi, my name is Dave Askins with the B-Square Bulletin, and some of you might be aware that I try to use public comment as an opportunity for the press to just ask a question, and sometimes the public body will answer the question, sometimes it's not a question that can be answered. Just to be clear, I totally get that there's no legal requirement for anybody to answer a question that someone asks from this spot. The question I have is, can the election board just authenticate that or confirm that they've received a letter from David Wolf-Bender, who is the District 6 candidate in the Democratic Party's primary? I'm just trying to, as a first step, verify that what was sent to me actually came from David Wolf-Bender and that it was received by the election board as well. So that's the question. Thanks.
Clerk Brown?
What I can say is that shortly before today's meeting, I received an email from an IDS reporter asking if the election board was going to hear or discuss a letter that was issued by Mr. Bender. I searched my electronic mail. I have no correspondence that was received by my, in my inbox prior to leaving for this meeting. I have been provided a letter. It is the first I am seeing the letter today from, if this is from Mr. Bender, it is the first that I am seeing it, and so I've not had a chance to thoroughly look through it or make any effort to authenticate it. Is that fair?
I would say ditto, except that mine's third hand. I received it from Clerk Brown as a copy from the copy that she received from the IDS. I have not received anything in my inbox noting this correspondence.
And if I may, election board,
Mr. Donovan's experience is the same as mine, I would just say. Thank you. Yeah. Mr. Donovan's experience is the same as mine at this point. Thanks.
and if I may, election board, I received 2 letters this morning, shortly before this meeting. One is from, 2 letters were forwarded to me this morning. One is from, it depicts that it's from Mr. Bender, and another is from an attorney who is now representing Mr. Bender. I can provide both letters to the election board. As an update, since Mr. Bender has now hired a different attorney to represent him, I will send a copy of the letters that the election board has previously signed to that attorney. I know that the election board has not had the opportunity to review these correspondence as everyone has just learned about them. But my suggestion after reading these correspondence is that the election board members that are dealing with the Mr. Bender complaint may want to consider scheduling a meeting to officially receive these letters and then discuss them. And I know that Mr. Henry had previously appointed a proxy for this matter. As an update, Mr. Loftman has resigned his appointment of proxy, and so Mr. Henry will have to consider if he wants to assign another proxy or not.
Quick comment on that. I would just suggest that we perhaps wait until our May meeting to receive anything, because we have no idea as to the authenticity of these. I certainly haven't received anything in my inbox or to my address or via phone, so I have no idea. Certainly not calling anyone in the audience that may have provided this out, but we just don't know where this came from. Second thing, I want to note, and perhaps Mr. Henry is more than welcome to comment on this as well, but Mr. Loftman's resignation was not due to anything. There was nothing tense between anybody, or he didn't think I smelled bad or anything like that. So it was a matter of logistics that it was, he can speak more on it on his own, or if Mr. Henry wants to, but I just wanted to note that there was nothing going on in the background that any of you have to scratch your head about. That's not what took place.
I would say thank you for that transparency. Yeah, I don't really have much to add other than, yeah, that is the facts as they are right now, that yeah, Guy has stepped away and we'll reevaluate, or I'll reevaluate. But as always, I took the oath to sit here back in January with Clerk Brown. I am the duly appointed election board rep by the clerk for the Democratic Party. So happy to be here today. Thank you.
I do think it's a wonderful opportunity to thank Mr. Loftman for the service that he rendered to the election board in the role of proxy. I found him to be very informative and concise, and I genuinely appreciated the opportunity to work with him. And so, thank you, Mr. Loftman.
Any other public comment?
My name's Perry Robinson, and I'd like to just commend you, Nicole, and your staff for all the work that you guys are doing. I know you've had a lot of changes going in since this past November and everything, and just wanted to come up here. We're always hearing negative stuff around this courthouse and everything, and just wanted to come up here and say thank you, and thank you to your staff, because you guys are taking the ball and you're moving forward, and that's what we need to do here in Monroe County.
That is incredibly kind and generous of you, sir. I appreciate that very much. I'll always take an opportunity to publicly thank the staff that I have. I could not do what I do without them, and even though we're a little skeletal at this time, I have full faith and confidence that we are moving forward, that we will continue to deliver a quality election to Monroe County voters, and I appreciate that you took the opportunity to make public comment. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't see anything online. With that, I would just ask Molly if you could forward those to both myself.
I'm printing them currently, and
Perfect.
I will hand them to the election board meeting, or members momentarily.
Wonderful. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Unless we have other comments, I
I was
apologize.
actually asked the clerk at this point, is it prudent to just recess given our proximity to the election?
I'm sorry,
Is
can-
recess more valid given our proximity to
I
election?
feel that recess would be better. We have tended to do this in the several incarnations of election board that I have been on. The closer we get to the election, just in case there's something that comes up. So I am going to make the motion that we recess, but I am happy to defer to the chair.
No, I think that sounds
Or-
wonderful, and it's
or other
consistent
public
with
comment.
what we've done in the past.
Sorry, I was running to get to the printer, but as a reminder, if you recess and you don't identify the date, the notice will have to be published.
Right.
I think we have a published date of Monday preceding the primaries, and then that Tuesday, and then that Thursday, correct?
Correct.
For a regularly scheduled meeting.
Right. I don't know that everything has been published, but yes, those dates are dates that we will come together as an election board, and I will certainly reach out to Election Central and make sure that those are published.
Wonderful. Do we have a motion to recess?
I will make the motion to recess.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. We're in recess.